Stuart Sobel, tax speaker, educator, author, over 45 years of taxation wisdom and nonprofit expertise. Also known as the Guru of Giving, Stuart is available for speaking engagements, training seminars, webcasts, course development, NASBA and IRS approved study courses in the United States and internationally.
The IRS Taxpayer Advocate is an office that you should be aware of. If you have a crisis where the system is breaking down and you need someone who cares, someone who will slow the process down, can't eliminate the process, but can slow it down a little bit, maybe create a little bit of compassion, this is the office that can do it. Well, the IRS Taxpayer Advocate National is named Nina Olson, dynamic individual. She prepared a study of the correspondence examination process and ripped it apart. Ripped it apart. I'm going to be sharing with you some of her findings, some of her suggestions for improvement, then I'm going to be going into a whole bunch of other stuff regarding this process. Next slide. What did she find? What has practitioners said? What if people said who have been in the process of these correspondence examinations? What have they said about the correspondence examination problem? There are many of them. One, IRS does not make accurate determinations. Surprised? They don't always make accurate determinations. I worked for the IRS for 30 years, and I told you that I'll never forget when IRS was celebrating during a filing season that they had raised their accuracy on taxpayer service over the telephone from the high 60% to the low 80%. And I said to people, how can you celebrate mediocrity? Would someone fly U.S. Airways, American Airlines, or Delta when they land properly 82% of the time? It stinks. You've got to get better. Why doesn't IRS make accurate determinations? They may not have the right people doing these examinations. You sitting and listening to this are probably a very knowledgeable person. You're required to get continuing professional education. You may be a CPA, you may be an attorney, you may be an enrolled agent, you might be a registered tax preparer. You're knowledgeable. You might have been preparing your returns for 20 years. You know how to research things. The people who make these determinations may have a GED. They may be referring to a simple publication, like a publication 17, instead of tax code or regulations. You may be trying to explain to them what the world is like for your clients, but they have existed within the sheltering arms of government. They don't understand this. Another problem is taxpayer rights are being hindered. What does that mean? It means that they don't have a right. They haven't had the right to communicate their findings. They've tried to write the Internal Revenue Service, and you're going to be astounded by the amount of correspondence that is not received by the examiner. The examiner wants to pick up the telephone and call the IRS person whose name is on the letter, a scary letter that is reflecting substantial tax deficiency and penalties, which we're going to be talking about in detail, and saying, if you don't agree, you can go to court. Court? Some of these people think they're going to go to tax jail. They think they're going to have the cell next to Wesley Snipes or have the cell next to Bernie Madoff because the IRS is saying you didn't report all of your income over, you overstated your contributions to your medical expense. Taxpayers do not always get every right that they're entitled to. IRS is examining the wrong returns through correspondence techniques. The IRS is examining business returns.
For more information, log on to www.taxmedianetwork.com.